Originally, they lived in the region of the Great Lakes. They were Neshnabek, the people, and their sense of who they were was based on more than a common way of life or even a common territory. It evolved from a shared culture and a shared history that gave cohesion to the people, from a sense of time that united all Potawatomi, those dead, those living, those yet to be born. The Prairie Band, a small portion of the once larger Potawatomi, now live in Kansas, where the woodlands and the prairie meet. They came to Kansas in the 1840s, a dispossessed people, pushed onto a last reservation on the Indian frontier. Yet, the people never lost sight of who they were. They held to their traditional ways of seeing and ways of knowing. The clan retained its central place in the social life of the people, and the sacred clan bundles were maintained, and the rituals associated with them were faithfully performed. The oneness of Potawatomi selfhood, the harmony among the dead, the living, and the unborn, was continually affirmed through the naming ceremony, and wisdom, knowledge, and guidance continued to come from dreams and visions. But the pressures on the people to change intensified over the next 100 years. The forests, whose game and vegetation had always sustained them, were being eroded by the advance of white agriculture. And in the late 19th century, a three-pronged attack involving education, religion, and land was launched against Potawatomi culture. Boarding schools were built for the purpose of weaning the young away from the tribe, and a code of religious offenses was established, which remained in effect until the 1930s, and which sought to deny the people the practice of their native religion. In 1887, the Dawes Act was passed, breaking up the reservation into individual allotments of land. Its intent was to force the people to abandon their traditional hunting life and become farmers. The Prairie Band knew from the bitter experience of other Potawatomi tribes what allotments meant, and for 8 years they fiercely resisted implementation of the Dawes Act. But it was implemented, and as one of the people said years later, that's when everything went, after they cut this place up over here. Still, despite the allotments, despite the boarding schools and the code of religious offenses, the Prairie Band demonstrated in their struggle the resilience of their way of life. Far from destroying the Potawatomi culture, the pressures placed upon it served only to reveal its underlying strength and vitality. The people have kept faith with their ancestors, with themselves, and with the generations to come.
The name of our people is Potawatomi. This means that the people were blessed with the gift of building fire in a certain way. It came from the Good Spirit. The Good Spirit told the people to make fire with hard flints, holding one in the left hand and striking it with one held in the right. This created a spark against which they held some pulp to catch fire. Even a strong wind could not extinguish this flame.
The way I understood the Potawatomis were located several places, from Wisconsin to Indiana, Illinois, and Iowa. And from Iowa, they resided down here. They had resided down here on the Kaw River, which is now St. Mary's, Kansas. And from there they was given land, or they bought land, and then that's where they resided. That's where they're now are residing. They immigrated from the north, Illinois, Indiana, in Iowa, and I guess some parts in Missouri, I don't know where. Somewhere in Missouri. They were driven out by the civilization due to farming and so forth and so on. They found a good location where maybe they want to put a town site there or maybe farming. So they removed the Potawatomis from place to place, mostly forced out of places. They were peaceful people. They were mostly hunters. They were hunters all the time. But they were strong people. They lived the old and Native American. They lived the old traditional way. They kept up their old traditional way, and they had power with their sacred bundles. There was power. They had a lot of power with their sacred bundles. That's where the power came from. They were feared by other tribes, and so that mostly they were peaceful people. My mother told me they do big, they invite lots of people, Indians, to come and give me Indian name. And then my name, Indian name was Ka-O-Ko-Mo-Quah. Ka-O-Ko-Mo means fish, jumping water, jump, maybe trying to catch bugs, going over, fish clan, you might say. See, under fish clan. Ka-O-Ko-Mo-Quah, that's what that means. Well, they give me Indian name. Through there, everybody let everybody know. There's somebody, some old guy, we're gonna give this baby Indian name. That's me. See? Maybe you're old, 2 years old, huh? I'm gonna give him Indian name, Ka-O-Ko-Mo-Quah. So that's what that is the Indian name. So to be recognized, I guess, I suppose, so they could. And he said that if you had a white man name, God don't recognize him. See, he said you're Indian name. Ka-O-Ko-Mo-Quah, y'all know. You come visit my heaven, you might say. See, a nice home for you, something like that. That is what Indian believe. I don't know. Yeah, that's the way I understood it. And we got Indian there, we go to, you might say Indian heaven, where it's kind to you, kind words, Indian heaven. So, yeah.